you know what? We're going to keep coming so hard. The only thing these woke-tards got to figure out is whether it's on their face, backboard, or thighs. Woo! Get some. Thank you.
Well, it just reminds me of how much I hate the extremes on both sides. I really do. It's cool guys on both sides. Welcome to Dr. Drew After Dark. Please be advised that Dr. Drew After Dark may contain sexually oriented content and be unsuitable for young children. Hey everybody, welcome to Dr. After Dark. Of course, keep those emails coming at drdrafterdark@gmail.com and the voice messages at 818-253-1693. Got a ton of great emails today and voice messages around sort of medical topics. I will say today, my buddy Nick Schwartzen was supposed to be here, and let's see, we're starting filming right now. About 8 minutes ago, he called in and go, "Oh, dude, I can't come in." Nick.
He did seem really apologetic.
I'm sure he feels bad. There's sort of no excuse to call 8 minutes before. Maybe active COVID, maybe. As my old genetics professor used to say, the only excuse is your death. But that's okay, Nick. We love you anyway. We love you. It's all fine. It's all good. And I kind of welcome the chance, because we've had guests, and it's just nice to spend a little time with the guys in the booth. It really is time to, I kind of look forward to this.
It's nice to spend time with you.
It feels sort of, I don't know, I feel like I'm free a little bit, and we're all going back in the living room together and debriefing on what we've been through in the last few months. And I feel like I've sort of lost touch with you guys over that time. So in the meantime, if you don't mind me just touching base for a minute.
Absolutely.
So Nadav, you've lost more weight, I believe. Seems like. Looks to me like.
Allegedly.
And you're working out still aggressively?
A little bit, yeah. It's, I go through like some fucking back injuries come up. We go to like my birthdays, like there's just all these things coming up.
When is the bet come due?
That's really questionable.
So that's
sometimes we talk about it and then we just kind of don't talk about it for 8 months.
Is Tom giving you the nod, the cred for having accomplished so much? Is he appreciating what you've done?
I don't think there's been a lot of progress over the last 2 or 3 months.
I know you slowed, of course. That's the way it works.
Because I think what you see is just like, oh wow, you still don't look like the fattest I've ever seen.
There is some of that. There is some of that.
Because I've looked at some earlier videos and I'm like, Jesus Christ, that was a circle. That was a real sphere. Not that I'm like
good for you,
a rectangle now.
No, but you're good, and I see a little more. I was thinking today I was seeing more of the effects of working out. That's what I think I'm seeing. So
right,
I can see it.
A little tone.
Just more like your posture's different and that kind of thing. So everybody, diet and exercise. Pretty simple. Has it been as you get into it, it's easier, right?
Yeah, it's you get into routines and you feel better about it. Like you start being like, if you don't move for a while, you're like, oh, I feel like such a piece of shit.
Yeah,
like you start missing it.
Yes, you miss it. Good.
You just start feeling you're getting into it. And Drew, I gotta say, you look pretty good too, my dude.
Oh, God bless you.
Can we see those guns real quick?
I didn't feel like putting anything over. It's just so freaking hot outside here in Austin.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like putting anything on top of this. So it's just
feel free to take more off if you want.
No, thank you. That's weird. But now my buddy Enny, how you doing, man? I noticed there's a little facial covering and people might be interested in what's going on there.
Yeah, I think I might be a little bit sick, but I'm not sure if it's sick or at this point it might be poison. I'm trying to figure it out, you know what I'm saying? But
poison?
Yeah, I don't know yet. Yeah, I spray poison all the time in my house. Raid, I don't like bugs.
You spray poison all the time?
Yeah, I spray poison like everywhere. Like I call it lining up. So yeah, I just line up the house. Yeah,
you mean like
pretty much once a week.
And you take a can of Raid or something.
Yeah.
Is it for flying insects or the ants? Which one do you do? You don't care.
I don't discriminate with bugs.
You just take a Raid can, general killer.
Yeah.
And do you go down in the corners? Do you go up high? Where do you go?
All over.
All over.
And anywhere that there is like a hole for something to get through, there's Raid going.
Okay. And so I'm not seeing your new house, have I? I don't think Are you still in the place where you?
No, it's a little apartment.
Yeah. And what part of town is that in now?
It's closer to the city now.
Closer to downtown. Yeah. And so are you troubled with bugs? Do you have like cockroaches, that kind of thing?
Never because
never.
I don't
so have you seen a bug in your house ever?
Nah.
Okay. Anyway, so
but that's why though, bro.
I see. Yeah,
though. You know
right.
what I'm saying? We get bugs here. How many fucking bugs we
Wait,
been? Every day, how many bugs we see here?
So they do the raid, like there's raid, which will definitely like, it has a smell and it sucks and it makes you sick probably. But there's also it's called like first defense or something where it's non-toxic to humans and it doesn't smell bad.
He doesn't trust it.
I bet it doesn't work.
He doesn't trust it. There you go.
It does work pretty good.
Nah.
Well, but by the way,
use it here.
there's
Okay, hold on. Then that's perfect. That's the great. That is demonstrating how bad it is. We got bugs here all the time, bro.
We got less bugs now, though, since we did it, Drew. We got less bugs now.
You know what our president said to me? He said, so it's Texas, you just get bugs. What the fuck? No, there's no, I don't know.
No, you don't like bugs. Why not get a professional, like an exterminator, and sort of get
professional. I've exterminated all bugs.
No,
bro.
I understand, but you ever heard
the
case of the superstitious pigeon?
You've told me about this.
That's what I thought.
What is I keep blocking it out. What's
yeah. So it's essentially, there was a famous behaviorist in the 60s in Harvard called B.F. Skinner. And he invented something called the Skinner box, which is these boxes that they'd essentially put animals in, but he famously had pigeons in there. And they would reinforce the pigeons with some food every time the pigeons would learn something. So they would teach them more and more elaborate, like dance steps or pecking patterns or things like that, and they get the reward. There was a pigeon, they decided finally, let's see what happens if we just randomly drop food down and what the pigeon does. Like, how is the pigeon going to adjust its behavior when sometimes it's just the timing is off, the number of rewards it gets. Like sometimes it'll be one piece of corn, sometimes it'll be 4 pieces of corn, sometimes it'll be 30 seconds in between, sometimes it'll be 5 minutes in between. Well, that pigeon this is a pigeon that's been previously trained to do stuff, right? So he knows he can get reinforcement for behavior. Starts doing things randomly to see what it is that's going to get rewarded. And he develops more and more elaborate patterns because he thinks he's figured out what's causing the food to drop or the bigger reward to come in. And it's literally random, but the bird, being superstitious, the superstitious pigeon, thinks it has some control over what's coming its way as a reward through more and more elaborate dance steps and pecking. And I think you're becoming the superstitious pigeon, my friend. I think you're doing all these elaborate things, and the reward is there, but it might be there anyway, even without all that elaborate behavior with raid. And to the point where you're hurting yourself, that's what concerns me.
So hold on, you trying to tell me God is just like sprinkling bugs on my motherfucking
no,
house? Just like,
no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying,
he thinks the raid's working again.
That's not the takeaway.
Well, but
I'm not a pigeon, nigga.
I always appreciate your take on things, and again, well done. But I'm saying is you've developed some elaborate behaviors that you think are causing the reduction in bugs. Maybe there's some intermediate thing you could be doing other than so much with the raid. If you had a professional kind of advising you or something, some other way that you didn't make yourself sick with the raid. So what I want to know, how much raid are you doing? Are you emptying a whole can of it every week kind of thing?
Not the whole can, but I mean, I've gone through a lot of cans like in this apartment, and I've only lived in this apartment for like a month and a half.
That's too much.
So yeah.
That's too much.
I mean, hey man, not one.
And after you finish, do you feel kind of jittery and stuff after you finish spraying?
No.
So
it's always at night. Like I'm pretty sure some of the vents just start blowing it all over the fucking house, and I always forget to open the window after because I should, but I don't like that because then that also leaves room for bugs to come in.
And Austin's being good to you? You like living here now?
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
I'm actually getting to experience it now that I've settled into my new place. I'm going mudding and all that shit. I got a Jeep, so we
wow, really getting into the Texas
You've been going mudding?
Going mudding, baby.
Nadav, how about you?
I've been kind of going around too, like starting to develop like a friend group and like checking out like soccer games and seeing all the
living a real life here.
Yeah, I'm like moving around and doing shit like I used to back home.
Now I know how you embrace your Jewish heritage, and you're very excited about that. Is that in any way involved with not just who you have around you, but to how people respond to you or anything here? Is there anything weird about Texas that way?
Yeah, I mean, like there's like for example, like there's a Jew Boy chain that's around here where it's a restaurant called Jew Boys. Which is an interesting thing to call a restaurant.
You hang out there now? Is that?
I mean, no, I don't hang out there like after work every day. No. It's like I think I've dined there like twice, maybe.
But just the
3
fact
times.
that it exists is odd for you.
Right. Well, I had to visit it, and it is actually really good food. Check out Jew Boys. sandwiches and burgers, but there were a couple like instances where I interact with people where it's just like, oh, they haven't like seen a lot of Jews before, and the reason I know that is because they explicitly said that. Like I went to I needed to get my knives sharpened.
Yeah.
What?
These are like
Just
cutlery.
a funny statement. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was gonna say, is cutlery knives? Are you throwing
Look,
knives?
guys, you need to get your knives sharpened every 6 months, no matter what. Doesn't matter if you keep them in a drawer; they're gonna get dull. They're gonna lose
Cutlery
their edge.
knives.
Yeah,
Kitchen
like
knives.
chef knives.
Okay.
Yeah, not like steak knives that are perforated.
And not some sort of buck
straight up-
knife you're going out hunting
no,
with.
like
Okay.
chef knives.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Chad.
I just pictured you with like a collection of knives.
I do have a collection of very, very nice chef
And I
knives.
feel like Chad, I see your Instagram, Chad. It seems like you're out doing a lot of Texas stuff. You know, sort of inner tubing and stuff.
Yeah,
See,
we did that for Nadav's birthday actually this weekend. It was a lot of fun.
We did that on Saturday.
So it's and you're you're a college professor. Is this sort of do you have a sort of wistful draw to UT, which is nearby, or is this what's this like for you living out here?
No, I mean, I think I'm too old to be hanging out on campus.
No, I don't mean as a student. I mean, do you ever feel like, oh, maybe I should get a job here? Maybe it'd be interesting to teach again.
Yeah, I think in the future I might want to teach again. I don't currently want to do it, but I have considered doing maybe like a side adjunct thing at some point, and then
Interesting.
later on towards the end of my career.
How about
I'll
this
probably-
new University of Austin thing?
Yeah, I read about that.
Right.
I don't know how it's coming along. I haven't looked into it recently, but it seemed like an interesting concept.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just uncertain because there's no like physical location right now,
Right.
and I don't know how they're gonna develop and get bigger.
It's just an online school?
It's an idea still.
Yeah.
of a very sort of an old school liberal arts kind of training, really, is what as I kind of see it. But it's just real. All ideas are welcome, kind of notion, right? Am I getting that, Chad?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. It's kind of like all kind of political views and like kind of not focusing on one particular thing. They have a lot of people on the board. Like I think Lex Friedman's on there.
Oh, he finally joined up. I know he was sort of thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm not certain if he's officially on there, but I did hear that he was talking about it at one point.
Would it be interesting to get him on this show?
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Would it? I was trying to get him on a streaming program, but I then occurred to me like, well, how would he react here? This would be a weird environment for
in a
him.
very cool way.
You think?
I think it'd be fun.
It would be fun.
Okay, but you got to prepare him.
I mean, yeah, as much as we prepare everyone else.
Oh my
And that we
God!
give them a location and a time to show up.
No. You got to prepare him. I mean, maybe it's because I've sort of, I'm a little bit, I'm a fan of his, and his intellectual sort of pursuits, and this.
He's a professional. He's a fan of the silly.
This would be a little bit of a left turn for him. This would be a different, but I would like to see it. I got to say, it's not different than me being here. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of notion.
You guys
so
are the same caliber of professional.
it'd be the same idea. Fish out of water.
I think he'd handle it fine, but
Okay.
also you could kind of cater the conversation.
Well,
to like
he have
him.
to be in on the joke, and we have to make sure he's okay with the joke, kind of thing. Like he could play along with this.
Well, no,
think
it's
you
just
could.
like, hey, here's someone snapping their neck in half. Do you think this is funny? It's not an inside joke. It's just
You ever
surface level,
listen
do
to
you
his
think this is
podcast?
funny?
That is not the kind of stuff he's talking about in his podcast.
Oh, which
but-
reminds me.
yeah. What?
Let's show you. Start off with a clip.
Okay. Horrible or hilarious? Oh my God. I saw this. I think I saw this. This is incredible. Oh my God. So I'm never going on a ride like that again. Do we know where that was? I'm imagining it was somewhere in Russia or something. Do we know what happened there?
Let me see. Yeah, it was in India, so you're good.
India,
There's a
okay.
lot more inspections here, I think.
I would think, but man, I mean, that's going to be. I mean, some people are going to be fine, but some people are going to get have permanent back injuries.
Right. So here's actually some information that we have on this.
Let's watch it again before you give
Horrible
it.
or hilarious.
It's both. I mean, it's sort of extraordinary. And by the way, it's so weird because there are all these sort of recreations online of extreme rides going crazy, but it's just sort of
Recreations.
there's some weird. I've just come up.
I've seen carnival rides breaking and people dying on them.
Yeah, but this sort of extreme, like over the top stuff where stuff is, giant things like this are slingshot over the horizon, stuff like that. And you have seen so many of those that it kind of desensitizes me to what's going on here. So
right. I mean, it doesn't, like, you look at this and you're like, I'm not even sure.
Yeah, it almost doesn't look real.
Like, this is hilarious.
So we're looking at a spinning, and it just lets go. Oh,
It just free falls.
at least halfway is a full free fall.
Right. So here, let me get some info. Let me get some stats for you on this.
Okay.
30 people were on the ride.
Yeah.
It was a 50-foot free fall drop.
Yeah.
It was in India. It's still under investigation.
No kidding.
Only 10 people were injured. Some taken to the hospital, but no one died.
Okay, good.
As far as we know.
So a third of people injured. And you can kind of see it's that side of the ride too. That one sort of at about 9 o'clock. That's the side that really seemed to take the watch.
Right.
They're flying out of their seats and stuff.
Right.
The other side goes second. Boom.
Oh yeah, that side does kind of hit the ground first.
Yeah, somehow that's got it worse.
Yeah, a whole bunch of mechanisms failed here, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you think, like, it says that 10 people were injured. What kind of injuries do you think that they had?
So it's going to be mostly back injury, that kind of thing. But it could be head injuries, right? You can snap your head back. It could be neck injury. It could be
like
broken legs and arms. Who knows? I mean, it looks like it's got sort of, there's a shoulder harness or something that they're wearing, and people are flying out of those shoulder harnesses, right?
It looks like those
Which is
failed
crazy.
Also.
I don't know if they fail or popped open or something, but people are, popped open. You can see it popped open there.
Yep, it popped open.
Oh.
And then it looked like it yanked one of them back down to the ground.
Oh, some of that did not look good.
So, like, do you, like, smash...
Thank you, Nada. Thank you, Enny.
Do you smash your ass on that? Is it like...
Yeah, you
like
can break your pelvis,
you'll fuck
sure.
your pelvis
oh,
up?
yeah, sure. But it's mostly what's being driving through the spine that I worry about. Now, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. It can be tough to train your brain to stay in problem-solving mode. And you say face a challenge, but when you learn how to and to find your own solutions, it's a great feeling, and you can keep using that. A therapist can help you become a better problem solver, make it easier to accomplish your goals no matter how big or small. And listen, there's no longer any excuse, right? BetterHelp, as I've said, I've referred patients, family, friends, been very pleased with the services they provide. And stigma is one of the main reasons people push back. How can there be stigma? There's no waiting room. You don't have to see the therapist if you don't want to. There's just no excuse any longer. Now, if you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great way. It's convenient, accessible, affordable, entirely online. As I said, get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey and switch therapist anytime. Again, what are you waiting for? When you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/afterdark today to get 10% off your first month. That is better, HELP.com/afterdark. Man, we hate asking for directions and we hate going to the doctor. I know my patients, when they come in, they are dragged in by their wives or girlfriends, particularly when it's stuff that we just wish would just kind of go away. We don't want to deal with it. Well, here's the thing. Most of these health issues are really have simple solutions. RexMD is all about simple solutions. RexMD makes getting generic Viagra or Cialis easy. Everything is online. They deliver right to your door. Even the prescription is online. No office visits, no talking to a receptionist, no waiting room where you run into people. Very simple. Now, listen, Viagra can cost up to $90 a pill, but RexMD has generic Viagra for as low as $2 a pill. Just fill out a quick medical questionnaire on their website. A physician will review the situation and prescribe you generic Viagra if it's appropriate. Your medication gets shipped right to your door with free 2-day shipping. It's fast, it's simple, it's cheap, and you can access your U.S. licensed RexMD physician anytime you need afterwards. RexMD has helped over 300,000 guys get generic Viagra quickly, conveniently, discreetly. RexMD just works, and it works the very first night. Starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are now available for our viewers, but you've got to go to RexMD, that's REXMD, RexMD.com/afterdark to get started. Once again, that is RexMD.com/afterdark. All right, guys, let's anyway, great checking in with you guys. I've missed you. It's been busy with our great guests, and thank you for booking all these wonderful guests. We've got more to come. More, and as we've said repeatedly, guys, if you're people you want to see here, let us all know. I mean, send emails drdriftdark@gmail.com. Seems like the Legion of Skanks and the Kill Tony guys are very, very popular with your mom's house. And
hell yeah, dude, they're the
get those
best.
guys back. They are the best. Get some of those guys back. I am trying to get to Skank Fest, so we'll see if that actually happens. But did you see the Legion of Skanks thing I did with them? Those guys are amazing.
When you went on the show?
Yeah,
Of course, yeah, you crushed it.
Those guys are amazing.
Yeah, they're like Lewis, Big J, Dave, like they're all
Yeah.
top tier.
They're
top
amazing.
Tier talent.
They're amazing. And the amazing thing to me is the amount of weed they smoke is epic, and they're sharp as shit on all that weed.
You know, you start learning how to work with it. You know, back in my heyday, it's like you used to dab like 20 times before lunch.
Really?
Well, I used to work at Weed Maps, and like that was like what we did.
That seems like you couldn't function.
The first time you do it, definitely not.
Oh, you guys, I got to tell you a quick story.
Please.
You guys should ask me stuff. I got stuff to reveal to you.
Yeah. When was the last time you got Crossfados Barbados?
What's that? I don't know what that means even.
Just dabbing up and drinking up.
So I don't want to out anybody, but I was at a famous comedian's house, and he's known for his weed. And it was, I thought, I'm going to have to smoke weed with these guys because it's just what's happening. And there's another famous actor that's known for weed, and also this, another young actress. And they were just, I don't want to out these guys, but they had these blunts, like cigar size, what do you call them? Blunts, I guess.
Yeah, blunts.
With plastic tip, like a mouthpiece on the end.
Oh yeah, that's I think a Black and Mild.
Okay.
I'm familiar with this.
Black and Mild. Well, and little did I know this particular one that they were just going, they seemed to be just going crazy on, had also rolled in hash. So, So I'm like, they finally come to me. I'm like, all right, and I'm going to be one of the cool kids, and I take a big hit. I guess you don't really do that with that product, or I don't know. That looked like what they were doing, and I had a fucking toxic reaction where I developed what's called an anticholinergic delirium, where I couldn't feel my hands and feet. My body, I couldn't move my body. I had Parkinson's disease. Susan grabbed me and said, "Sit down." I lost the capacity to sit. I was able to walk outside and just had dry mouth, photophobia. It was really a bad reaction. And no high, only misery. Misery.
You know, Drew, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say I think you should stay away from weed.
I'm going to go with you on that. I told Rogan one day I'd like to come on his podcast to get high with him. I'm taking that off the table. I'm no longer open for that.
But also, I mean, you didn't even go 0 to 60. You went 0 to 120. Like, if you're having like a blunt mixed with
hash,
a whole bunch of hash in there, like,
and God knows.
And when was the last time that you blazed?
College.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Weed's a little different now.
Yeah, I know. But I guess I'd been exposed to this and that here and there a little bit, and you know, in California, it's almost impossible not to be around it. And I really never really felt anything. I really didn't feel anything. This was, so I was sort of, maybe I was a little cavalier because of that. And this was, I mean, it was a horrible, I thought I thought I was going to have a seizure. And I looked this up afterwards once I could function. It took me about 5 days to recover. For 2 days, I was a mess. Couldn't drive a car or anything. Oh, yeah.
And you just took like one hit off
One
of it?
hit. And I sent the comedian an email after I said, I am so sorry that I'm such a freaking lightweight. But I think I defined the defined lightweight. Look me up in the dictionary now. It's just lightweight by my picture. So it's called an anticholinergic reaction. It's what it was.
That sounds like your asshole seals shut.
No, it's just, it's a weird reaction. You can get it from taking a whole bunch of Benadryl. And
Hell yeah.
Remember when we were doing the...
So you had neuropathy issues.
No, well, not neuropathy, but remember when the guys were, doing that whole Benadryl bit, I kept saying you can get anticholinergic reactions. That's what you can get from it. And apparently you can get it rarely from weed. And it can cause seizure, too. And I felt like I have a seizure. I kept telling Susan, do not leave me alone. I'm going to have a seizure.
So you just lost all motor function.
Yeah.
You felt sober.
No, I couldn't concentrate. Time was going through weird things. I went outside and I thought, if I can just get through 3 hours, I can hold on, it's going to fade. And Susan kept coming out and checking on me. And but second time she came out, I thought, all right, I'm making it. It's probably been a couple hours. And I go, how long has this been? She goes, about 8 minutes, about 10 minutes maybe. I was like, oh my God.
Time's going down really, really,
Oh my
really
God.
slow.
It was like expanding time. And
Didn't you say that you didn't get high? This sounds like you were just insanely
Yeah.
high.
I think Drew was
there
just stoned.
But there was nothing pleaure. It was only misery. I mean,
Yeah,
like
you
misery.
learned to like it,
there
Drew.
you sound like the guys in college that used to give me that shit. It's like you're not doing it right.
Yeah, that's called
No.
being a lightweight.
It is called being a lightweight, and I'll go down as that. That's what I'm gonna have to accept now. That is what I am. No,
We'll
it
take-
was
we'll
it
take
was
baby
bad.
puffs moving here on. And
It was bad,
Look, man, I would have treated you well. I would have been gentle. Like, now you're just like, oh, I want to smoke like the cool kids, and you're just starting straight off with like a fucking speedball straight into the veins.
Yeah, it was. Whoa. I mean, I look, man. I was sick for 2 days. Think about that. It was really
And
nasty.
it took you 5 full days to feel back to normal.
Yeah, before I could like run and exercise and stuff the way I like to. Yeah.
And
it was,
what it was just like a weird cognitive thing that was like, oh, I feel like loopy or daisy. Because I've had weekends that I wasted because I took too much edibles.
Great.
I don't do it anymore.
So a little lightheaded, but discoordinated. Like I still had a little bit of like unsteadiness on my feet and a feeling like I could have a seizure if I'm not careful. I mean, I got to be sort of I couldn't drive a car. Couldn't
All
do
right.
that.
Well, I'll get some of the lowest dose THC.
No, here we
weed
go. I
can.
just decided I'm gonna come off of this stuff. By the way, is it legal here in
You're
Texas?
off the hard stuff. It's decriminalized.
Okay.
And also it's just flavored tobacco. We'll be all right.
Like I said, I offered it up to Rogan one time. He's like, we'll see. And that I may reserve it for that. But God, what if I have that reaction again and I'm doing a podcast? It was the most awful. Anyone who's ever had that, please write me an email because I'm sure that people have had it. It's reported in the medical literature because I had to study it the next day. And I should have gone to the ER. There's something called physostigmine they give them to reverse this.
Maybe it's because
No.
you're a doctor and you had all these ideas in your head already, and then you're just overthinking. You're like running through the index of what it
I
could
was
be.
I was not panicking. I was not paranoid. I had nothing like that. Nothing, and there was no thinking because I couldn't concentrate enough to have a thought. And people kept trying to come back in, and I really couldn't. They'd speak to me, and I'm like, I can't even. Yeah, it wasn't that. I couldn't hang on to anything. Couldn't concentrate on anything.
I mean, it sounds like you were just.
It was
too
miserable,
Yeah.
but not. I was not, and it was interesting. By the way, Chad, if I had been younger, I think I would have panicked. I would have been. It's such a scary, locked in kind of feeling. I could see how people could panic with it. I had nothing like that. No, I was like, I know what this is. No problem. It's gonna be gone in 2 hours. But then when time started expanding like that, I announced that I have to leave. Now I have to get out of here because this is bad.
Did you say that the last time you smoked it, which was in college, like you said, you've never actually felt the effects of it, right?
Of weed?
Yeah.
No. More recently, I've had somebody's handed me a vape pen or something.
Oh, but you have felt stoned before.
Yes, and
Okay.
I've never liked it. Never liked it. And the same reaction in college. My peers said, "Oh, it's because you don't know how to do it. You're not smoking enough." All the Nadav-esque sorts of thinking on this.
Yeah,
on
peer
this matter.
pressure.
It wasn't even peer pressure because they loved it so much. They couldn't understand how it's possible that somebody either didn't like it or didn't get high from it. And that's just genetics, man. That's
It's
just
just
how it
not
works.
good for some people.
It's just genetics.
True.
Look, I don't like opiates either. I feel shitty when I take opiates. Do you have that, Nadav? That's a common thing for.
I kind of like it.
Okay, so I feel dysphoric. I feel awful when I take opiates.
But it's interesting because I know some people too where like they're like, oh, Nadav, I've never smoked before. Like can you like roll up a joint and we'll smoke something? And then like it's happened once where one of those people like started rolling into a seizure.
Actually had a seizure.
Actually had a seizure like right after smoking. I was like,
Dude.
holy shit, dude! Like let's fucking take you to the hospital. Like I've never seen this.
And did they
before.
go?
Yeah. I was just like, we're not seeing this movie, man. We need to like get some water in you. We need to go check you out right now.
And did he wake back up after the seizure?
Well,
or-
yeah. Like he got to it like within the next like 30 seconds, and he had like a pre-existing seizure condition.
Oh, well, there you go.
His girlfriend was there. Like she was like, oh, we've seen this before. Like,
Okay,
don't
yeah.
worry, you just like looked into the sun probably at the wrong time.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about ball bag pain, everybody. Let's get to the sort of fundamentals of YMH. Let's get back to what we're here for. Thank you, gentlemen.
Hold on. I got a quick question for you. Chief.
Oh.
Sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off. But quick question on dehydration. So I think I've discovered that the whole essence of everything that makes me weird and like stuff that I do that's different. I think it all can be attributed to a lack of hydration. I think all of it.
What do you give me an example of one of these weird things?
I mean, constipation. Like
sore throat for 3
severe,
weeks.
consistent constipation, right?
Yeah, but you hold your stool in for 3 weeks. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no way to make that soften up
But see,
without going more frequently.
Yeah.
But what else? Give me another. What else you got with the fluids?
I'm all out. I forgot.
Well,
what
so
else.
you're
I
dissociating.
remember that it. I remember that it was other stuff that sounded like that. Damn, I don't remember.
Well,
you know what? It was the piss color too.
Oh yeah, that should be clear.
Yeah, that should be clear. Yeah,
Yeah.
mine's like a yellow brown.
Yeah, unless you're taking a lot of supplements and things, because that can make it yellowish all day long.
Which I do not.
Okay, so
But-
you do need. That's good. Ooh, look at this. Look at the P chart. Yeah.
But I was curious. What is worst case scenario? So far, people have only told me kidney stones. What's the worst thing that could happen if you are severely, chronically
Yeah.
dehydrated?
In your, are you restricting fluids for some reason?
Restrict? No.
Yeah. Do you get thirsty?
No.
Do you drink throughout the day?
Not really. Like, I mean, I will, but not really.
Here's something that was very interesting to me. So I was in the bathroom like a week or two ago, and I remember on YMH when we recorded it, we looked up this urine color chart.
Yes.
And Enny was like, "Oh yeah, I'm like on the second or third from like the most right
Yes.
from the brown where it says see doctor
Yes,
or
yes.
drink water now."
Right.
And so
That's what I'm
remember-
imagining he's got going on.
So I was taking a shit in the bathroom, and then I hear like someone's at the urinal, and then all of a sudden I hear Enny go like, "Oh man, that is brown." And then I asked him about it afterwards. I'm like, "Hey, I totally heard you." I like started laughing to myself.
Well-
and he's like, "Oh, it's actually like darker than the most dark thing on that scale."
well,
No. It's not darker, but it was more towards that than I thought. Like, actually, this one here, this chart seems different to
the
me.
one where
I
it
don't-
says see doctor.
Yeah, I don't think we looked at that chart.
Okay.
We looked at a different one.
the problem
Closer
with
to this one, severe dehydration.
yeah, the problem with
Dehydration.
brown, this is urine brown, not the brown of YMH talk. Brown urine it can mean blood, and blood in the urine is a really, people don't understand this. Blood in the semen, no big deal. Blood in the stool for a young person, usually a hemorrhoid, something like that. Blood in the urine is a big deal at any age, right? It can mean a nephritis, it can mean a bladder tumor, it can mean a stone, it can mean a million different things, but all of them need attention, right? Now, the brown can also be severe dehydration, and you're just getting the color not quite right. It's really sort of a deep orange, instead of a brown so much.
Yeah.
And that's, you're chronically dehydrated. So let's talk about chronic dehydration in a young person. In a young person, as they've told you, you can precipitate stones if you're prone to stones. It's not as big a deal as you might imagine for a young person. It's not what you would call good for your kidneys, right? Kidneys need to be kind of flushed out, let's say, to keep the concentrating system operating properly and to keep the tubules working properly. And you're stressing the kidney. You can start to develop something called acute tubular necrosis, which is old people get that easily. Okay, so if you're 90 years old and you're dehydrated, you can get kidney failure. Okay, those kidneys can't quite handle that, and you can fall into more problematic dehydration as an older person for a myriad of reasons. Your thirst mechanisms aren't what they should be. Your ability to maintain your blood pressure is sort of off as you get older, so you can shut your kidneys down. Younger, pretty hard to do that. I also worry about sort of brain homeostasis. You can sort of dehydrate your brain. And if you suddenly rehydrate it, it can swell. And when it swells, it can cause a lot of problems. And I was in the desert recently. You guys know about this. When Susan comes in here, in a couple of weeks, we're going to tell more about that story. Let's just say this is something that was pertinent to my experience in the desert.
Dehydration.
I can't say any more than that yet. When this thing airs in January, this is like when we were talking about The Masked Singer, right? When I had a non-disclosure, I couldn't talk about anything. But I can talk to Susan when she gets here about all the people that I was in the desert with, because now we're allowed to talk about that. I just can't tell what happened. But I will tell you, these sorts of issues are significant when it's 120 degrees and you have limited access to water. It's a big deal. I'm not, how old are you, Enny?
I'm 30.
Yeah, I'm not 30. I'm 64. And the 64-year-old with these fluid issues, like I said, the 90-year-old gets into trouble like that. 60-year-old also gets into trouble. It's just the nature of aging. The system doesn't maintain its homeostasis and its resiliency to this kind of stress quite the way it should. So at your age, doesn't worry me so much. But you're going to have to pay attention a little bit to this eventually. And it's not what you call good for you. Okay?
So
and it will help your constipation too to be hydrated, of course. Yes.
I mean, I discovered the cure to that has been weed, so we good with that. But
cure to the constipation.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Weed. But all right, cool. So in like 30 years, I'll like drink some more water or some shit. Is that what you?
I'm saying it's good that you're thinking about it.
You really want to avoid the kidney stones, though.
Well, if he has them, do you have them, Chad?
I've had 2 before.
They're
terrible.
fun, right? They're fun.
It felt like someone was stabbing a
You've
knife
had
into
them?
my side.
You're raising your hand.
Huh?
You said
I was saying, ooh.
Oh no, they're really bad. No, they're really. You don't even understand how bad they are.
They were terrible.
It's like getting shot in the back. It really is. It's about the same pain.
People pass out from the pain.
Yeah,
They just
easily.
wake up in the hospital.
Yeah, it's because it's one of the worst pains you can go through.
Yeah, I couldn't walk.
It's all right.
And then they charged me $20,000.
Why didn't you have insurance, dude?
Very funny, huh?
I was broke for most of my 20s. I didn't have that kind of money for insurance.
$200 a month?
No. Not at that point in my life.
Oh fuck, dude. In any event, did you just declare medical bankruptcy or something? What did you do?
I tried. It really put me behind the 8
Yeah,
ball
no kidding.
financially. Like being in your early mid 20s, having like that big of a
Yes,
medical debt.
I
tried,
get it.
Taking care of some of it, but eventually it just got charged off.
Oh,
So-
they just let it go. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
but I mean,
Oof.
it took like 7 years to
my
get
gosh.
off of my financial record.
Oh my God, how terrible.
Yeah.
Well, in any event, keep drinking lots of fluids. You can help prevent the stones. You do anything else to prevent it? You taking any hydrochlorothiazide or anything? No?
He's talking to you, Chad. I think.
Oh.
Chad, yeah, you doing anything else to prevent stones?
No, I mean, I definitely started drinking more water at that point, and I think that has
gotta
helped
do
quite
that.
a bit.
You must do that. And were they calcium oxalate stones? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Okay, that's the most common thing.
How is it that, still on kidney stones?
Yes.
But like I've seen the size of some of these things.
Yeah.
How the fuck do those fit through a dick hole? Like how are they not just clogged? Like
Oftentimes they have to go up and get them.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily about passing it through the dick hole, as you say. It hurts more when it goes from the kidney to the bladder, because that tube is smaller.
So the ureter, the tube that goes from, give me a kidney. The tube that goes from the kidney down to the bladder is a very tiny, very delicate thing, and it's full of pain fibers, and you feel it. See the tubes going down? There you go. Just the second row, second from the left, is the sort of best. There you go. Those tubes going down to the bladder. And the stones, it's amazing that the stones get through there, but often they do not. So they either get hooked up at the what's called the calyx, which is the center part of the kidney. It's the yellow, no, other side. In there. It gets hooked in there. Or it gets hooked in the ureter. If it gets to the bladder, it's probably coming out. It's just you'll push it out somewhere or another. But what they do is they either go up and with a basket and grab it, or they crush it with ultrasound. And
a Segura basket.
What?
Apparently, like I think Tom's uncle or something
And invented the basket?
Invented the Segura basket.
No kidding. I didn't know that's what it was called even. Let's look at it. Segura basket.
It's like one of these twisties.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, they go up and just capture the stone with that thing. And wow, his uncle was a urologist?
Yeah.
Who knew? So in any event, I think more than not these days they will crush the stone and turn them into sand essentially with the ultrasound. So you get paralyzed, you get a anesthesia, spinal anesthesia, so you don't feel anything, and they just fire sound waves right at the stone and crush it. Yeah, look at these things.
That sounds fine.
2.5 pound kidney stone.
Well, that's crazy. What kind is that?
There's different kinds of.
Yeah, there's all kinds of kidney stones.
Oh.
Most of them are calcium oxalate, but there's urate stones, there's struvite stones.
Which are the ones that are smooth like this?
And that's what I don't know.
Jagged
That this one up there looks like a struvite stone that you've got there now. It doesn't say. The struvite are the jaggedy ones.
Oh,
yeah,
my
like that one.
God.
Looks like coral, right?
Oh my God.
What's the matter? Hey, Enny, start drinking water, right?
I'll be all right.
Boy, these.
You want to piss out a quarter-sized piece of coral?
Yeah,
Just
man.
blast it out with that fucking sound waves. or
He'll go
whatever.
get it taken care of. That's right.
Yeah.
And he loves seeing doctors.
Could I like when you blast it with the sound waves
Yeah.
and shit?
Yeah.
Could I do it myself? Like, would
No,
I be
no,
like,
no.
hey, listen, man, give me that. Like,
No.
No?
It's a very technical procedure. You're
All right, fair
in a
enough.
tank and you're paralyzed and you're in spinal anesthesia. Yeah. So
Wait, like
fair enough.
you go to the hospital and you're like, give me that, or you buy the contraption and just do it at home yourself.
listen.
I was thinking like in the hospital, I'd be like, yo, let me play that like it's asteroids. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Why would you want that?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because it's a video game.
Yeah.
I'm a gamer. You know
He'll-
what I'm
like, not only a gamer, he's a DIY dude.
Yeah.
Right. I like it. He's intuitive.
fix
Sort of. What's the word when you can invent things? Inventiveness. Morning, Chomos. Ball bag pain. Since I was a child, I had pain in my left semen producer. Your left testicle that produces sperm, not semen. Once I got my own insurance, I went to the urologist to see if I had cancer. They said it's a varicose vein, which is called a varicosity. I had severe pain when I first wake up, and after sitting for a while, yep. Are there any remedies to the pain, or will it need surgery? Thanks, Hitler. There really aren't. I mean, wearing tighty whities, so giving some testicles some support, wearing especially at night. Obviously, just good hygiene and not, good drainage of that area. If you can put your pelvis on a pillow and let it help it drain out, that's helpful. But there's not a lot you can do. Don't put it in situations where it can get smushed. That's the main thing. And a lot of people live with them for long periods of time. It's no big deal. It may affect fertility in some situations, but I've never really seen that. Ski accident unlocked my emotions. I'm a 26-year-old male. February of 2021, I broke my femur. That's the biggest bone, the biggest bone in the body. My recovery went well. Now when I watch something sappy, I end up overcome with emotion and crying. It used to take a lot to make me cry. It only seems to happen when watching TV shows and movies. Is this common? People have experienced physical trauma. Is this something I should worry about or just embrace it, keep them high and tight? I wonder if he's on any medication. I wonder if you're still on pain meds or anything, because opioids can do this for some people where they get very weepy all of a sudden. Some people after a traumatic event can have more unregulated emotion, and that's probably what's going here with you. You're having like a post-traumatic stress disorder, and in all likelihood, this kind of pass with time. It's going to sort of diminish. But good, you're in touch with your emotions. It's not like they're overwhelming you and troubling you and difficult. You're like, when you see something emotional, you're having more emotion. What the fuck is in my belly button? 27-year-old female. Belly button is deeper than most. You can really see all the way in.
What?
I don't like, yeah.
How does she know that?
I'm
Deeper than most.
I really don't like touching the inside, so I don't really clean it. Ugh. There's something dry and hard inside my belly button. It will not come out. Oh my God. My husband tried pulling it out, and so have I, but it is stuck. Ugh. There is, where's my favorite gagging couple? Blech. There is something dry and hard. My husband tried to pull it out. There's no give. It hurts when we pull on it. Honestly, it feels like a cork. I'm definitely afraid to pull it out at this point, wondering if it could be part of my umbilical cord. It could be, actually. It could be an old remnant of tissue like that. Never fell off. The doc will be tying my tubes, is going to find some nasty buildup. Let me know. You know what I would do? I would, when you have your tubes tied, ask them when you're first under anesthesia to go in and get a forcep on that and pull it out and see what it actually is, and see if they can they may be able to sort of shape some of that down or make the whole area cleaner for you somehow. Because the real problem with that is people get debris in there, they get caught. We've talked about this before, and they can form abscesses in their belly button. Look at umbilical abscess, and they're pretty nasty, and they can smell too. They can smell like crazy.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
Yeah. Look at those things.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're nice, huh? Whew.
Wait,
times.
so it's just you get so much shit in there, they're like, hey, you know what? We're going to form an organism in here?
It's sort of like, really what happens is debris builds up, it's deep in, so it gets cut off from oxygen supply, and you get anaerobic bacteria going in there. And if there's sufficient infection, if it gets into the tissue even a little bit, then you get abscess formation. And
it could just seal up?
Not so much. Oh my God, they went all the way inside the body there, up there in that one. Yeah. Yeah, good times, man.
So if you don't clean out your belly button.
Well, keep going down. Let's see what else is. What other horrible, nasty, rare complications people can get into. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh my god.
That's a good one.
Oh my.
Is this similar to what Potter had, only on the front side?
Interesting. It is similar in that it's a deep abscess. It's a very different source. Very different source. Though, he with all his hair and stuff, he forms these things all over the place. I know we have Nick Simmons coming in here in a few weeks, and he is a huge Potter fan. I would love to expose Nick. I don't think he's seen the video where I operated on Potter. It'd be kind of interesting to show that to Nick when the time comes. Anyway, all that loveliness. I think that one that you put up right now, that one is sort of very typical looking, kind of nasty belly button mess.
A weeping belly button.
Let's hear some voice messages. Let's do this. Come on now.
Hi there, my name is Clifford. I'm on methadone, and I rarely poop.
Good boy.
And I'm off and on stool softeners, and I have bowel movements maybe like once a week, and they're very intense. I saw that commercial that says people store like 20 pounds of poo in them at any given time. Is that number multiplied because I'm on methadone, and how worried should I be? Thank you.
Clifford, I think, is a new listener because he's not heard the long conversations we've had about poo being outside your body and who cares. But the problem with methadone and constipation is that you can really get in a serious problem like that. That is how you get toxic megacolon and you get motility problems later because the effects of opioids on the gut motility are profound. So it actually is really important that you take regular daily laxatives of some type to mitigate this, whether it's milk of magnesia or Ducalax or both, or even some of the I'm blanking on the name of this stuff. Look at an osmotic laxative, and the name will come right up. Miralax. Miralax would be a good thing for you. Miralax is a really good thing too. And just take it on a regular basis, and it will not hurt you, but it will hurt you to not do it. Next voicemail.
Hey, Dr. Drew in the booth, boys. It's Jonathan. I don't even really know what my question is, but I was laying next to my girlfriend of 8 months earlier today, and we were just watching TV, and she randomly decided to smack me in the face while I was laying down. And then when I looked up and asked her why she did it in a calm tone, she started crying and then apologizing profusely. And I said it was okay, everything. I just kind of moved on, and I consoled her. But I don't even really know what my question is, but I'm just so confused as to why she would do that.
Yes.
All right. Piss on me, beat me. Bye.
Maybe no question, but I think I know the answer here.
Well, I'm just saying, unfortunately, Jonathan, without a lot more information, we don't really know what's going on with her. We really don't. I mean, maybe she freaking hallucinated something and swung it. Who knows? I mean, who knows? Jonathan sounds maybe not so sober himself, so I'm wondering if they were both doing something, or who knows? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking remove yourself from a violent situation.
Jonathan, you were confused. I am confused too. You need a lot more information. And it's fine to ask her, what the fuck? What was that? I understand that it was something that upset her, an impulse. What was it? What happened? Are you okay? Are you hearing voices? People can get symptoms that they respond to that they're afraid of, they don't understand, and requires medical attention. So get her care if she needs care. And if she is angry with you and that's why she slapped you, then Nadav's advice starts to apply. Maybe get the hell out of there. Okay, next.
Hey, Hitler, got a question for you. What's the difference between mental illness and just being a run-of-the-mill asshole? Like clinically. Where does someone stop being an asshole and cross over to be TikToked?
Yeah.
All right, ta-ta there, retard.
It's kind of a good question. It's overly simplistic, obviously. But the point is, serious mental illness are usually what we call Axis 1 illnesses. So psychotic episodes, depressive episodes, anxiety disorders. So thought disorders, anxiety disorders, mood disorders, these major categories, bipolar disorder, as I said, schizophrenia, these sorts of things that cause people to have essentially disabling symptomatology. That's the inability to function is one of the main symptoms of serious mental illness. And, you know, if you're hearing voices and if you're thinking of suicide, these are all the symptoms that people manifest with them. Now, being an asshole can also be a sign of mental health issues, usually in the zone of sometimes substance use, right? People who are doing drugs do terrible, terrible things, not because they're a terrible person, because the disease has them doing terrible things, but even more so, personality disorders. So personality disorders are the phenomenon that cause people to have trouble in relationships. Many of the disorders that are common these days include unregulated hostility and anger. That's being an asshole. And also sort of part of the common kinds of personality disorders people have today, people aren't able to maintain empathy and they exploit other people. And so it feels bad to be around them. So when you're talking about an asshole, you're talking about somebody who just makes you feel bad to be around. And those tend to be either addicts who are in their disease and can't help themselves, or people with personality disorders. And those don't really change. They are technically mental illness, and people can sort of learn there are therapeutic techniques to help mitigate some of the assholishness, quite literally, but they don't really go away, those problems. You're nodding vigorously. What are you thinking?
No. Just, that all.
Like borderline personality disorder doesn't go away, but you can really reduce some of the borderline stuff with dialectical behavioral therapy. Narcissistic personality disorder can be a really pain in the ass to be around, but doesn't really go away. But you can sort of do interpersonal therapies where you raise awareness of, you know, the impact people are having on other people. So that's that. That's an interesting question, actually.
Right. It's like there's the difference between like, oh, this person's unpleasant to be around, and like, oh, this person needs help.
Yes, and the people that are assholes, it's usually the people around them bringing them in, like change him, he's driving us crazy. And with the people with serious mental illness, it's the patient themselves, the family because they can't function, or law enforcement who bring them in because they're doing crazy shit. All right, so
Drew, I have a question about sorry to go back, but the girl who slapped her boyfriend.
Yeah.
I feel like we all have those kind of weird impulses, you know, whether it's like, I wouldn't
tell
say
me more,
slapping
Chad.
someone, but like maybe like you're in a car and you want to kind of open the door and jump out. I feel like people have those weird random thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
What is the mechanism that like stops people from acting on those impulses? And is that kind of similar to what she kind of lacks in that situation?
I'm not sure I can answer that in a meaningful way, except to say that having weird, intrusive thoughts of all kinds, unpleasant thoughts, that's on the normal spectrum, right? As you've said, people can have these thoughts like, what if I just pull my car into the center divider and stuff? What makes people do that are things that either mood disturbances, right? Like, I really want to hurt myself. The pain is intolerable, the mood problem. What makes people do intrusive, compulsive kinds of things that they find they have to do, or they fear that something bad's going to happen to them. That's in the obsessive compulsive disorder sort of zone, right? So there's the sort of drive to do these things. Then there's what contains them. You know, and if you don't have the sort of disorders that really make them likely to happen or likely to go from thought to behavior, then what contains them, that's your frontal lobes, right? We have these large systems in front of us that both cause us to sort of acknowledge dominant impulses, but be able to suppress them and maybe choose a subdominant impulse. And our frontal lobes have the capacity to think things through. In other words, we then think, well, what would happen if I opened my car door and jumped out? That would hurt. I would be disabled. I could die. I didn't really want to do that. It's just a weird thought I had all of a sudden. And so there's plenty of mechanisms in place to help us. Even just the idea of focusing, right? You have to have the focus on not doing that. There's many different mechanisms at work in containing our impulses, but they are pretty easily contained in normal situations.
It's all frontal lobe
Frontal lobe
stuff.
Frontal lobe stuff.
Isn't that where, with like lobotomies, they would kind of go after the frontal lobe?
Right. So, when I arrived at the psychiatric hospital I worked at for 30 years in 1985, there were lots of psychosurgery patients there. And because I was the new internist in town, I acquired lots of them. They were catastrophes. They they were just horribly disabled. And they, if you ever heard the case of Phileas Gage, do you know who that is?
Is that the guy that had the nail in his head?
He had a railroad tamponing spike that they used to tamp an explosive, blow through his head, blow through his eye actually, and take out his frontal lobe. And when he had the injury, he was sort of blunted and out of it, but he kind of recovered and seemed okay. But with time, he developed into what really is sort of a sociopath. He couldn't contain any impulses. He didn't appreciate that other people had feelings. He was hypersexual, just whatever.
Yeah,
just
he
came
became an asshole, right?
He became an asshole.
His personality.
Became an asshole, right? And that's that frontal lobe thing. Now, with lobotomies, your frontal lobe is still there. It's just not properly connected to the rest of the brain. So it's not quite as overt as somebody whose frontal lobe is blown out. You know, his frontal lobe is blown out is Gary Busey in his in his motorcycle accident. And so you'll see him do kind of impulsive things that seem unpleasant around other people, but he doesn't perceive what he's doing sometimes.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's good. Interesting. Do we want to do another voice message? All right.
And this one's actually on subject, considering what we talked about earlier.
Hey, Dr. Drew. Sorry in advance for calling you daddy here. But with all these questions on hydration recently, I wanted to know what happens when you do drink too much water that you die of overhydration.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that your cells explode, all these weird things, but I just wanted to, I was curious. Thank you, and piss on me, beat me, and touch my camera through the fence. Ay, ay, ay!
Ay, ay, ay. The main thing with excess water intake is sodium metabolism. So look up, well, we don't have to look it up. It's called hyponatremia. And when you get severely lowered sodium, you can get seizures. Again, you can get brain problems. Again, it's not so much swelling. I think you get something called transverse myelitis, which your brain gets an inflammatory condition. Low sodium and then the rapid changes in sodium as it comes back, not good. Not good. So it's not even so much the low sodium and the excess water. It's what happens, if you come back too quickly into normal sodium can injure the brain too. So it's really more about what happens in your brain with overhydration. And you get seizures and things also. Hey, good times. It's overhydration, not underhydration. Underhydration, you get high sodium, and that's also a problem. You get brain swelling with that one. And how you bring the fluids back, it's more about the shifts in fluids where you get into trouble.
So drink a normal amount of water.
Drink a normal amount of water, and realize that your body, when you're in some of this heat here in Texas, it's not just water you're losing. You're losing fluids. So you have to have things with liquid IV. That's something we talk about here. I'm dead serious about liquid IV. If you need something with something in it, sodium and potassium, to replace all the fluid, not just the water, or that's how you get into trouble with too much water and you get low sodium. So, all right, what else you got?
Hey, Hitler. My name is Ryan. I'm calling out of South Florida here. I've been having kind of a weird thing going on the last few years. I don't have exactly the same dream, but I keep having the same location for all my dreams. And it's not just one sole location. It's like a combination of my high school, a childhood neighborhood, Marlin Stadium, random things like that. It's just all collaged together into like one interacting area. And I don't know exactly why. Like the dream itself will be different every single time, but I will notice key features of the location that is the same. And it has been the exact same for about maybe a few years now.
Yeah.
If you have any advice for me, that'd be great. Bet your ass I'm coming up in May.
All right, buddy. Almost impossible for us to know what that is. It's something, probably unfinished business, some feeling you have about those environments. I've been having a weird recurrent dream about being back in college, like weird. And for about 5 years, I mean, like it's just all the time. I'm in college again. I'm an adult and I'm failing essentially, or I'm there and I'm a junior and it's not really clear why I went back to college. And it has something to do with my feelings about my brain aging and losing some intellectual power. And somehow I like want it back. So I want to go to college and really dig into it. But I'm fearful that if I do it, I won't be able to make it. Like there's always a math class that I just don't attend. I don't attend because I can't quite do the work. I stop attending, and then I think to myself, well, I'm not in college anyway. I'm just here because I want to be. The grades don't matter, so I just won't attend. I just won't go to math. It was very, very, very weird and very not like me, but I've had it recurrently for a couple of years now. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. That sounds like my actual college experience.
Oh, that's so, to me, that idea of having a academic requirement that you need to do and it's difficult and you're not doing it and you bail on it, that is the most uncomfortable feeling I can imagine. That really is a terrible feeling in me. And that's the feeling I keep getting at night when I sleep. So just think through, free associate, what is it about, Ryan? What is it about those environments that are intense or left over or you're kind of have some association with that's still with you and bothering you every night? So, all right, I would like to see a couple of videos if possible. Can we do that? Yeah.
So we got, let's see what we got. Hold on, what do I have lined up for you? Okay. So this is a pretty cool guy that I
miss the cool guys. Like. Need some cool guys, yeah.
He's the coolest.
Thank you, Shannon, Casey, Timmy, and Kathy. Keep winning, baby. Do it. Embrace simple truths. There's only 2 genders. And boys should go to boys' rooms. Girls should go to girls' restrooms. And guess what? Teachers shouldn't be forced to use your freaking made-up fantasy pronouns. Fight like hell. Hold the line against the LGBT mafia and their dang pedo fans. Keep winning. You know what? Keep the winning. They can keep the monkeypox. How's that working? In fact, keep winning so much, we'll keep coming. You know what? We're going to keep coming so hard, the only thing these woke-tards got to figure out is whether it's on their face, backboard, or thighs. Woo! Get some! Thank you.
So my favorite part is the cop in the corner. Look at him; he just doesn't move the whole time.
Oh, what about the lady at the bottom right?
There, my picture was over it. Oh, I didn't really see her, but I can imagine she was rolling her eyes a bit. I imagine. Well, it just reminds me of how much I hate the extremes on both sides. I really do. It's cool guys on both sides. Too many cool guys, sort of controlling the conversation these days. But that guy's pretty cool.
Yeah, this happened in North Texas.
I don't know quite what he accomplished with that, but
he's just like, we're gonna come all over the pronoun people.
I like the way he's hating on LGBT. Like, what?
Right.
Keep your monkeypox.
Yeah, it's just like, oh man, you almost had an argument here, and then you've kind of
no, he's a cool guy. Yeah. Do you guys know Chad and JT?
Oh yeah, Chad and JT go deep. They just had a Netflix special. Or series.
I was on that Netflix series. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh yeah.
We should get them in here.
Sure.
They would be great on this show, and I think they would come in especially for it. So let's work on that. The reason I'm thinking about them is they go before the city councils have public sessions, and they go before the public sessions and take on the city council for decreasing their stoke. They don't get enough stoke, and their ragers are being diminished by some of the laws that the local city councils are putting in.
They're just 2 chill dudes trying to find the chill.
Just trying to ultimate stoke.
There's only 2 genders.
But this guy reminded me of it. This guy's the real deal. All right, so Chad and JT,
we'll keep coming.
Oh, stop! I don't like him. Let's see. Let's do a Garth, because the people have been really at me about Garth lately. Like, where are the bodies?
Yeah,
they're really wondering. That word is out. They got to find the bodies.
No, yeah, there's articles written now. They're just like, why is his comment section so crazy? So yeah, here's another really psycho video of Garth.
Hi, Miss Rosalind.
Hey, Miss Carter.
We just want to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
We hope you are having the day you deserve.
Amen. How's the +1 doing? That's what they call me.
We love you.
Happy birthday. Hey, Miss Carter.
You know, I think if Tom had made such issue of this, you just would go by. You just would go. But when you sit and study it, it's uncanny. It's hard to understand what is going through his head. They both look like, as they present themselves in this video, like South Park characters or something. Like they have these weird plastered on faces. I just wonder what's going on in his head. And what's with the 7 on that cap? Does that mean something?
I don't know about
That's
that.
not a public. That's not some sort of weird message he's sending out to his.
He's like, I'm claiming 7 bodies in this
Right.
town
I think
that I'm
maybe that's
currently in.
it. Maybe there's
gotta be
some. He can't help himself. You have to put out a clue to where the bodies are.
Right.
Seems hella uncentered too. That's really uncomfortable.
Uncentered in the picture.
Yeah, just like on the hat, it looks like it's to the left.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah.
What is up with that?
Ooh, and what's?
Yeah, and then Chad also brought up too. Is his ear being pinched down by the hat? Or,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's not like he's got weird elf ears.
No, but what? Well, he does have weird sort of tack down lobes, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's a sign of some sort of genetic.
Sometimes.
predisposition.
Sometimes. Is it both ears or just that right ear? Interestingly, it can be associated with kidney problems. Ear problems and kidney problems go together.
Which lends to drinking problems, right?
Nope.
Nope.
Can you zero in on that ear? Can we get like a tight shot on the ear? Because I think it'll freak you out when you see how pinned down that right earlobe is.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see
And
if I
how
can do that.
and the left ear does not appear to be at all crunched down by the hat, which is sort of weird. Poor Garth.
Nope.
All right, we tried. All right, well, we'll continue to try to figure out where the bodies are buried and what Garth is thinking and why he can't not do creepy videos. That's the most extraordinary thing of all. Why do they have to be all so damn creepy? I always feel bad for cool guys, and he's becoming a cool guy.
Oh, he's been a cool guy for like I'd say better part of a decade at this point.
All right, well, now we're all aware of it. Well, thank you, everybody. Keep the emails coming at drfdark@gmail.com and the voice messages at 818-253-1693, and we'll see you next time. All conversations and information exchanged during participation of the Dr. Drew After Dark podcast or interaction on the drdrew.com website is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Do not confuse this with treatment or physician medical advice or direction per se. You must always follow your medical professional's advice and direction. Nothing on these podcasts or posted on this site supplements or supersedes the relationship and direction of your medical caretakers. Please understand, I am not playing the role of physician in this environment per se. I'm educating. I am a licensed physician with specialty boards in American Board of Internal Medicine and American Board of Addiction Medicine.